Hey guys, Dayne's Great Journey, checking back in with another video. Thanks for tuning in if you've been here before or it's your first time. This video today, based on the title that you've maybe clicked on it for that purpose, is going to be 10 tips that I personally use to help build my work capacity, my work output, so I can be as highly productive as I can every single day. These are going to be just things that help me, and even if you can maybe take one or two of them, some of them are very simple and basic, and then some others might take a little bit of time integrating them into your specific routine. But I'm going to share with you 10, and I don't do this with a lot of videos that I make. A lot of the videos I make are just, talking to the camera, but I've actually written them down. So if you see me, throughout this video looking down, I just want to make sure I cover each of the 10 tips with you, the 10 strategies I personally use, and you can take whichever of them that might help you in your life. Some of them, again, are basic, and some of them are a little bit more strategic and might take a little bit of time. But I just want to share what has helped me go, from being able to work a certain amount of time every day, have a certain level of energy, and I'm actually looking back at this from when I was 18, really starting to get into personal development and figuring out how to be more effective. I think that's a great word to think about when you're wanting to improve in the career or the profession that you have. Is how can I be more effective? How can I be more efficient? And how can I work more, right? Especially if you're trying to achieve some certain level of goal that might be somewhere you have never gotten before. So some of these things I'm going to be sharing with you have taken me probably 8 years to fully integrate into my life. So it's taken me some time. However, I think it can be extremely beneficial to share some of those things with you. And even if you take one of those things, it might help you in your personal journey. That's what this is all about, Dayne's Great Journey, sharing my journey and helping you along your journey with the experiences that I have. So let's get into how to actually build your work output as an individual. So I'm going to talk about these 10 tips in no particular order. When thinking about this, these are the things that have helped me the most, have high levels of energy not only, but also be able to really just work and work and work and be a high performer throughout the day from when I get up to when I go to bed. So let's get into tip number one. The first one is going to be sleep. I know people talk about sleep all the time, and I think for an individual, you have to find what your cadence is where you can be the most effective. For me, I'm always trying to figure out what is the least amount of sleep that I need that can give me the most amount of effectiveness the next day. Now, I'm not saying that you need to sleep 2 hours a night. I think sleep is so effective for your overall performance, health, well-being. And I sleep about 6.5 to 7 hours a night. So that's my personal time that I need, that I can feel my best the next day, that I'm not overly drained and overly tired. I need 6.5 hours. So that's the first thing I would say is figure out for you how much sleep you actually need every single day and try to get that, because if you get 2 hours in one night, you're going to be so much less effective the next day. And I'm sure you've done that before, where you've pulled an all-nighter, or you slept 4 hours, and maybe you're consistent with 8, and it just ruins the rest of your next day. So try to set a time that is a non-negotiable. I will get this much sleep, because you know how effective it's going to make you the next day and continue to give you that energy. So find that sleep that works for you. Next one's going to be meditation. Meditation is something I picked up when I was, I would say, 19 years old, and I've been able to integrate it to do it every single day in my life, which has been so helpful. Now, there's a million types of meditation, and I won't go into all the different ways you can meditate, but what I focus on specifically is I do a 20-minute meditation in the morning right after I get up. So I get up out of my bed, and I sit somewhere on the ground that I've set up in my room to basically do Wim Hof style breathing. That's when you're doing very deep breaths. So you're going, and you're doing that actually about 30 times in a row. And then you're holding your breath, and then you're doing another set of 30 for 3 sets. And I do this because it gets oxygen into my system very fast. You can look up all of the things I'm sharing with you right now as you kind of think of how can I be more effective and what makes sense for me. But this is personally what I'm doing. I'm not going to go into all the science and all the things behind it. You can find that online. But I do the 3 sets of 30 of the Wim Hof breathing every single morning because it gets so much oxygen into my system. And following those 3 sets of 30, I do something called priming as well for another 3 sets of 30. It's just another exercise actually brought about. How I found out about it was from Tony Robbins, someone who you can check out. You can literally type in Tony Robbins priming exercise, and you can do it for yourself and see if it affects you in any way and gives you any type of benefit. If it doesn't, scratch it. But if it does, that's great. This is an extremely, these 2 types of meditative exercises, these 2 have helped me a ton. So I do those every single morning, and then I might sit and just do some slow breathing for about a couple more minutes. This exercise in the morning takes me about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling that morning. And after that, I can go right into my day without needing any type of caffeine or anything. I'm ready to go. I'm wired and I'm ready because I've gotten that oxygen. So it's extremely effective. And again, you want to think of what kind of signals and exercises and routines can you create that puts you in a state to become a high performer. So meditation is going to be the second thing. Number 3 is going to be hydration. I know you all know, again, I said some of these things are basic. I know you all know hydration is important, but I prioritize it. I drink a lot of water throughout the day, and I make sure that I'm hydrated no matter what. So I'm constantly sipping on water. If you don't like water, you can drink other things like sparkling water, LaCroix. I mix and match both of those, but I'm constantly sipping on water to stay hydrated. It makes all of the difference. Even a slight percentage in dehydration affects your mood and your energy. So I prioritize that. Enough said on that. I don't need to go into that anymore. But again, it helps me. Number 4 is going to be working out consistently 5 days a week, and then the benefits of heat, so saunas for that matter, and then also the benefits of cold. So all 3 of those things in parallel. You can look up the benefits of cold showers. You can look up the benefits of hot saunas for, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes. And again, I've been doing this for a really long period of time, so I've integrated all of these things into my routine that help me have very high levels of performance and energy. So if you want to look up saunas and the benefits, there's so many. The benefits of cold therapy through cold showers. I take a cold shower every single day in the morning in my morning routine. And there's a video I talk about my morning routine, so I won't go into that now. But I take a cold shower every single morning. And again, it makes me feel amazing in the morning time. With the meditation, it's just at a different time in the morning routine. And then I work out 5 days a week. Now with working out, I try to move my body as a main priority, whether that's burning calories and making my heart healthy or lifting weights. I lift weights anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, and then the other times are doing types of cardiovascular exercise, HIIT style training, getting the heart rate up and then slowing it down. And I'll make sure I work out 5 days a week. Those are non-negotiables, and they make me feel amazing. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening. I actually do both. I work out sometimes in the morning, more so on the weekends, and then throughout the week, early in the week, I'll work out at nighttime, because what I'll do after my workout at night is I'll take a hot sauna, and then that helps prime me for bed. It gets me really relaxed and tired so I can have deep sleep and feel amazing in the morning. So I prioritize those things, and I'll do about 4 saunas a week, which again, it might sound like a lot, and I do about 20 to 30 minutes every time in the sauna. And I know you might say, wow, that's a lot of time, Dayne. It's worth it though, because I get such an incremental benefit on the back end from doing that into all of the other hours in my day when I'm working and doing some other things, creative projects, whatever that might be. So working out, saunas, and cold, those are all kind of in the same category, I would say, for myself, because it's all physical things. Number 5 is going to be focusing on creating blocks of time in my workday that are uninterrupted, and they're for 60 to 90 minutes. So if I'm working on a project, let's say it's a video project or a podcast, because I have a podcast, I'll set aside 60 to 90 minutes and a timer, and I'll go to work on that thing for 60 to 90 minutes. Now, you can read and check out a book called The Power of Full Engagement, where the author actually talks about that. I think it's something Schwartz, but The Power of Full Engagement talks about setting these cycles, because our levels of energy go through cycles. And if you can create cycles of work where you have no uninterrupted time, that's a huge caveat with this too. you have to be focused and you can't have any distractions. So I know that's easier said than done, especially if you go into a day job. And again, I try to integrate it a little bit differently at work by putting on headphones, listening to music, and just working on specific things for 60 minutes, 90 minutes without, and people know like that they're not going to interrupt me because I'm doing something. But again, it's a little bit harder at work. So how can you set up 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks in your day where you're working on one thing for 60 to 90 minutes without any interruption? Put your phone away, just have a timer and go to work. And then once that timer hits, you then task change. You don't try to multitask on a million things. I know this is easier said than done. Just look up the book, The Powerful Engagement, and creating blocks of time in your day. This is extremely beneficial and help you become way more efficient and effective, especially if you have to do a lot of different tasks throughout your day. So that's another one. And then after that 60 to 90 minute block, I would take a 10 to 15 or 20 minute break, doing something completely different, re-energizing, maybe walking around, getting up off of your feet if you sit down, and just moving around, stretching it out a little bit or whatever, and then go into another block after that 20 minutes. So if you can do back-to-back blocks, that's extremely effective too. So that's going to be number 5. Number 6 is going to be understanding your chronotype. Now, something that's become really popular over the last 3 years is like your chronotype. And what your chronotype is, again, I recommend you look up all of these things online because I don't have all the time. I know we're already at 11 minutes here, and I hate making long videos. But again, I want to share with you my 10 strategies for being that person that other people say, dang, how do you have so much energy? How do you just work and work and work? Again, it takes tips, strategies, routine, habits to integrate into your life. So chronotypes are basically, what is the best sleep pattern and wake pattern for you? Are you a night owl? Are you someone who works most effectively in the midday? Or are you a morning person? I believe my chronotype is a lion, and lions like to get up really early. I wake up at 4:30 pretty much every single day, even on the weekends, because I like to optimize the time in the morning before I go into my job at work and work hard there, and then come home and I work at night as well. But my highest level of performance is in the morning time, and that's my chronotype. So I would look up what your chronotype is and then try to map your day to match that. If you work way better at night, then I would push your bedtime later. I like to go to bed earlier, get up earlier. If you work better at night, then strategically structure your day where you're going to bed later and then waking up a little bit later. That's completely fine. I hate this whole notion of you have to be a morning person. That is completely false. It's all about how much you actually get done in the time that you're up, and you need sleep too at the same time. So I would look at the chronotype as another tip and strategy for you as a developing strategy to become more effective, efficient, and build that capacity of how much you can work and exhaust yourself, but then recharge and all these other things that go into that. So let's go to the next strategy. That's going to be number 7, which is so important. Find work that excites you. I mean, if you're doing something that you have no interest around, how do you think you're going to perform, right? And again, I know that at certain times in our life, we have to do things that we don't necessarily do. And you might love something, but then there's things about what you love that you don't love. So you have to kind of obviously adapt, and it takes time to get there. But I know from personal experience, whether it was a job or it was a passion project, I always found something that excited me. And it gives you so much more energy when you're working on something that excites you and that you can look forward to and that you can work on every single day, because the minor little progress that you make every single day, maybe you're getting 1% better. Look up the 1% rule if you haven't heard that. Makes all the difference. So find something that excites you. You can find a company and a career that excites you. It just takes work. You have to put in work to find that if you don't already have it. And again, I'm not going to go all into that. It's a pretty simple concept. So the next one is going to be number 8. So create small wins along the way that you can integrate. I think that's so important. Let's say you're trying to get in better shape. How do you create small wins alongside the journey? I hate this whole idea of you have to reward yourself once you get there. I'll be happy when this. I'll finally say I can take a break when I get here. How about integrating those rewards? Because progress is happiness. It's something Tony Robbins says all the time. So how can you set that up into your day too, where, if you have an amazing day, what's the treat at the end of the day that you can set up? We need cues, we need rewards. This is how we work. This is how our brain works. So I would set up little rewards, whatever that might be for you, that can get you excited and feel like you're making progress. That's the biggest thing. How can I feel like I'm making progress to my ultimate goals every single day? So that's gonna be number 7. I don't know, 10 tips, guys. We're at 14 minutes. Stick with me. I'm telling you, these things can really help you. So number 9. Actually, we're at number 9. Great. So we only have 2 more. Fasting. I think fasting is incredible. It's changed my life over the last 2 years. And the type of fasting the last 2 tips. So fasting, the type of fasting that I do is intermittent fasting. That's the type of fasting that I actually do every single day, Monday through Friday. So I fast Monday through Friday, 16 hours, and then I have a window of 8 hours that I can eat within. Now again, everyone is different. Everyone works better off of different type of plan. I'm someone who loves to work without, let's say, anything in my system. I get kind of that ketosis effect, if you will, even though I'm not in ketosis because I eat carbohydrates. It's minimal, but I still eat carbohydrates in my day. But I just feel so amazing when I don't have anything in my system. I'm just drinking water and I'm working. I like the feeling of feeling lighter too. Again, these are just things that these are just, I guess, unconscious signals to my brain and to me personally. But I like the feeling of being fasted, and I can work really well. It takes a lot of energy to digest food. I'm not saying that you shouldn't eat breakfast or anything like that. I've just found personally through experience and trial and error of a lot of different protocols that fasting works really well with me Monday through Friday, and then I open up Saturday and Sunday to, let's say, get on a normal eating schedule where I can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I choose. So if you want to fast, I would look into it. It takes some time to kind of figure out what works best, but this personally works for me very, very, very well. Going without food for a certain amount of time. If you want to try fasting, I love this app called Zero. It's on the iTunes, not iTunes. It's on the Apple Store for apps right now, but I don't believe it's on Android. Zero, that's the app. It's just called Zero. And it helps you kind of look at different fasts and integrate different fasts, and it times it and tracks it and things of that nature. I'm a big believer in tracking progress. I think whatever gets measured gets managed, if you've ever heard that saying. So fasting is a big one for me. Again, you can take 1 or 2 of these tips and integrate it. And as you see progress, take another tip as it kind of comes along. So that's going to be another one that's huge for me, is going to be fasting. The last one is eating for energy. How important is food in your energy levels? Oh my gosh, I could talk about this forever. I went to school for, fitness and nutrition and all these other things, and I learned so much about how food affects the body. But we don't have time for that in this video. So all I will say about this specific tip is finding the foods that give you the most energy and that don't rob you of your energy. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a time where you ate a delicious meal, it was so good, but after that meal, you felt like taking a nap and you just wanted to just call it for the rest of the afternoon or for a couple hours? Well, that's all the energy it takes to digest that food. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't treat yourself and have good meals. I love food and I love having those enjoyable meals with family and friends. I just like to prioritize eating foods that make me feel the best. So I know the foods for myself that work the best. I know that I work better off of, let's say, a little bit higher fat of a diet and a little bit lower carb diet, but then I also integrate days where I can eat a little bit more carbs, especially as it relates to the workouts that I do. So for this specific tip, I would ask yourself, what types of foods give me the most energy? And I would like you to think about how you can use food to help your performance. So how can I eat for my energy versus how can I eat for just pleasure and in the enjoyment of the taste? Again, this is not for everyone. This is for people who are looking to say, hey, I want to work and outwork everyone in the industry I'm in. I want to perform at higher levels. I want to build my capacity, right? This is one of the biggest things that's going to help you in my personal experience, the food that you choose to eat. Fasting goes hand in hand for me, and then when I do eat, I want the meals that I eat to be able to make me feel even better on top of that. So how can you eat for energy? Is it this type of carb that makes you feel best? Is it this type of protein, this type of fat? It's taken me years to figure this out for myself, but the time has been well worth it because the food I eat actually just helps me perform better versus not and wanting to be tired. How many people have you gone out with where they're just like, oh, okay, it's time to take a nap after that meal? There's a time and place for that. And if you're looking to increase your output, with this video, which I'm sure you are, then think about how you can start eating for energy. That's gonna be the last tip, and I will leave you with this. Your routines and habits are ultimately going to get you to whatever outcome it is you want. The things that you do every day are gonna become the things that help you get to where you wanna go. You know, what you do every single day is really a defining factor in who you are as an individual, good or bad. But again, that's to the person, to each their own. So your rules, your disciplines, your habits, your values are going to drive everything that you want to get you to that goal. So I'll leave you with that. Take those tips if they're helpful. If they're not, don't use them. If you've never fasted in your life, don't start fasting out of nowhere. You know, you got to slowly try and do these things. But I hope this helped, guys. And I'd love your feedback if you're going to try any of this. What are the things that help you increase your capacity and workload? What are some of the things that you're going to try out of this? Share this if you think it's helpful with another friend. Like it would mean the world to me. And I hope to hear from you guys with this video. I know it's a longer video, but these things have helped me so much become that person where people are like, how do you have so much energy? How do you work so much and feel like it doesn't even affect you? And I'm not trying to brag or anything, guys. I'm just saying this is something I've prioritized in my life and worked really, really hard on. And think about it. There's going to be things that affect your energy, like alcohol, drugs, and then there's going to be things that help your energy, like meditating, like working out, like sleeping, like, you know, doing all these other things. I could talk about a lot of other stuff, but I hope this helped. Dayne's Great Journey. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, guys. Have an amazing day and 2019 year.